Ever wondered why some online male communities seem to exhibit a shared sense of superiority, entitlement, and disdain for women? Let's take a deep dive into this phenomenon, starting with the manosphere and red pill culture. These online spaces often harbor a pervasive sense of communal narcissism. But what exactly is communal narcissism? It's a collective mindset where members share a sense of superiority and entitlement. They believe they are special, different, and above the rest. This belief, however, is not without its flip side. These same individuals often perceive themselves as victims, martyrs in a world that fails to recognize their supposed greatness. This victimhood narrative serves to justify their sense of entitlement, further fueling their superiority complex. In the manosphere, this dynamic can lead to harmful narratives about women and relationships. Communal narcissism, a complex interweaving of superiority, entitlement, and victimhood, pervades these spaces, creating harmful narratives. How does the red pill philosophy foster this communal narcissism? Let's delve deeper. This ideology is steeped in a framework that splits men into two categories: the alphas, dominant and superior, and the betas, submissive and inferior. This alpha-beta hierarchy fuels a sense of superiority, a common trait in narcissism. But there's another facet to this philosophy. It's the narrative of male victimhood. Men, especially alphas, are portrayed as victims in a society that purportedly favors women. This victimhood narrative breeds a sense of entitlement, another telltale sign of narcissism. So what we see here is a philosophy that, on one hand, elevates men to a superior status, and on the other, paints them as victims. It's a paradoxical brew of superiority and victimhood, both key ingredients in the narcissistic cocktail. The red pill philosophy, with its inherent hierarchical and victimhood narratives, fuels the flame of communal narcissism. But how does this communal narcissism influence relationships and interpersonal dynamics? Well, the influence can be subtle, yet profoundly damaging. Communal narcissism, at its core, is characterized by a lack of empathy and an intense need for validation, which can lead to manipulative behaviors like gaslighting and emotional coercion. Imagine being in a relationship where your feelings and perspectives are constantly invalidated, where you're made to feel like the crazy one for expressing your thoughts or concerns. This is gaslighting, a common tactic used by narcissists to manipulate and control their partners. And it doesn't stop there. The lack of empathy in communal narcissism can erode the foundation of a healthy relationship, which is built on mutual understanding, respect, and care. When one party is focused solely on their own needs and views, it leaves little room for the consideration of others. This imbalance can create a toxic environment where emotional needs are neglected and personal boundaries are often violated. Moreover, communal narcissists often perceive themselves as victims, even when they are the ones causing harm. This victimhood narrative can further fuel the cycle of manipulation and control, making it difficult for those involved to break free. So, it's clear that the influence of communal narcissism on relationships is far from benign. It's a toxic brew of manipulation, lack of empathy, and self-victimization. Communal narcissism, with its manipulative tactics and lack of empathy, can significantly undermine the health and happiness of relationships. So, how can women navigate these influences and foster healthier connections? Firstly, fostering self-awareness is key. It's about understanding one's own needs, desires, and boundaries in relationships. This involves recognizing the signs of narcissistic behaviors and understanding how they can impact one's well-being. Secondly, setting boundaries is crucial. It's not about isolating oneself, but rather protecting one's emotional space from narcissistic influences. It's about saying no when necessary and not feeling guilty about it. It's about knowing one's worth and not allowing it to be diminished by anyone else's perspective. Thirdly, it's important to seek supportive communities. There are plenty out there, both online and offline. These are spaces where women can share their experiences, learn from each other, and provide mutual support. They are places where women can feel heard, validated, and empowered. Finally, it's essential to challenge toxic ideologies. This means questioning the narratives that encourage communal narcissism and not being afraid to push back against them. It's about standing up for oneself and for others who may be affected by these ideologies. Prioritizing one's well-being is not selfish, but necessary. It's about cultivating self-love and self-respect, and not allowing oneself to be swayed by external influences that seek to undermine these values. By recognizing and resisting communal narcissism, women can foster healthier connections and empower themselves in their relationships and beyond.